I can say is, thank God the Resurrection sequel never happened. Rob Zombie's Halloween was released in 2007, directed by Rob Zombie, starring Scout Taylor Compton, Malcolm McDowell, and Tyler Mane. And yeah, after Resurrection failed to win anybody over because it was terrible, they decided to move in a new direction and have Rob Zombie reboot the series. Rob Zombie of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects fame. I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie, so let's go ahead and jump into this review, starting off with the good. And there's quite a bit that I enjoyed in this movie. First of all, I really like Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis in this film. I don't think he's as great as Donald Pleasance by any means, but I think he brought a new bit of character to the part of Dr. Loomis. He's still hell-bent on destroying Michael Myers and stopping evil, but he's still got his little selfish ambition out about it, which Donald Pleasance did not have. And I thought that he was really good. Also, Brad Dourif plays Sheriff Brackett in this movie. He's absolutely terrific. You might know Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky in the Child's Play franchise, which we're going to talk a bit about the Child's Play franchise later on this month. But he was really good as Sheriff Brackett. Probably even better than Charles Cyphers, which, no disrespect to Charles Cyphers, he's still a great actor. But I just think Brad Dourif brought a little bit more finesse to the character. You also have Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode. Again, she's no Jamie Lee Curtis, but I think she does a good enough job. And I also really like Danielle Harris as her friend in this film, Annie. It's just really nice to see Danielle Harris back in this franchise after she was replaced in Halloween 6, and I'm kind of glad she was because I didn't want to see Danielle Harris as that version of Jamie. But either way, it was just great to see her again. Then, of course, you have Michael Myers in this movie, played by Tyler Mane, and I just really love this version of Myers. I think this is probably my favorite version of Myers because he's easily the most brutal, he's the most badass, he's the meanest version. I just really love this Myers, and I love the way the mask looks, the more weathered look. And I'll get a bit more to a weathered mask later on in these reviews, but I really like the cracked design of Myers. And then aside from the main characters, you do get the regular Rob Zombie mainstay actors. You get Sherry Moon Zombie as Michael's mother. Sid Haig, rest in peace to that legend, plays the cemetery caretaker, I think it is. You get Bill Moseley as a guard in the theatrical cut. I've never seen the theatrical cut, I just know he's there. Then you have Danny Trejo as an orderly at the asylum. And obviously you get William Forsythe in the opening. I'll talk more on him later. But yeah, I just really liked the assembly of regular Rob Zombie actors in this movie. It was just great to see them. And then also, I just really like the story to this movie. Aside from some aspects I'll touch on later on down the road in this review, I love the kills. They're very brutal. The third act is a little bit just a more brutal copy and paste version of John Carpenter's original, but I think it kind of worked for Rob Zombie reintroducing this world of characters. And I also really liked the asylum stuff that we get. Again, I'll touch a little bit more on that later, but I really like the more the aspect of seeing Loomis's interviews with Michael, although they kind of change it up a bit from the original version, where in the original version Michael never spoke with Loomis, where in this one Michael speaks with Loomis until something happens that makes him snap and just never speak again until the sequel, which we'll get to later. But either way, I just really like the story. Score is great, as is it always has been in a Rob Zombie movie. It takes the original theme and makes it a little more scary, a little more sinister, a little more metal. I like the way Rob Zombie tweaks the theme a little bit and makes it his own, but also a version of the original. And that's about all for the good. Let's go ahead on to the bad. And there's a few things I'm not a big fan of in this movie. First of all, the opening 15 minutes are absolutely painful to sit through. I love William Forsythe. I think he's a terrific actor, and I'm pretty sure he's a great guy. But I could have gone my entire life without the character he plays in the opening of this movie. He plays Michael's stepdad, and I did not need to hear him screaming obscenities at everybody in the room for the opening 10 minutes of this movie. It's like nails on a chalkboard, this character. I'm just not a fan of that character whatsoever. And then you have some of the asylum stuff. I wasn't a fan of how Michael escapes. I know in the theatrical cut it's just some obligatory prison transfer where Michael wrecks the bus and gets out, but I've never seen the theatrical cut. I've only seen the director's cut because it's the only available cut out there. I could have gone my entire life without that rape scene. I did not like that whatsoever. I hated it, in fact. And also, like I said, the third act is basically just a Rob Zombified version of John Carpenter's original, and it works for the most part, but there are some things that just don't work. It's a little too trashy, I guess, but again, I love Rob Zombie, nothing against him. I just feel like he went a little too Rob Zombie with some aspects of this movie, but that's about all for the bad. On to the final thoughts. I have fun with this one. It's not a great movie. It's not one of my favorite Rob Zombie films, but I do enjoy it. Rob Zombie's Halloween is a fun reimagining of the story of the original film, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween. Have you seen this movie? What do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow for the sequel to this one.